My front porch was a crime scene, and I don't mean that figuratively. The cardboard crate sitting there was hissing, tiny wisps of smoke curling from its edges like it was auditioning for a horror flick. The box wasn't just wet, it was drenched, bubbling under the midday sun with a chemical stink that burned my nose. Bleach. Pure. Industrial bleach. I stood frozen, a bag of groceries dangling in my hand, staring at the disaster. This wasn't some random Amazon delivery of dish soap or dog treats. This was a rare Celtic brooch, shipped from a private collector in Ireland, insured for due lot $2.5 million, entrusted to me for authentication. Now, it looked like a soggy, foam-covered tragedy. I live in Willow Creek, a postcard-perfect suburb in upstate New York. Picture manicured lawns, matching mailboxes, and a community newsletter that lands in your inbox every Tuesday at 6 a.m. sharp. Written in HOA-approved Calibri font with veiled threats about fence heights. It's the kind of place where silence is a personality trait, and conformity is the law. But beneath the calm, there's a dictator running the show, and her name is Patricia Hensley. Patricia, the HOA president, is a wiry woman with a perm as tight as her grip on the neighborhood. She patrols Willow Creek like a general, her clipboard her sword, her neon green windbreaker her armor. She once fined a family due law $150 for a disruptive birdhouse and sent a cease and desist letter over a kid's chalk drawing on a driveway. I'd always kept my head down, offering a quick wave and avoiding her gaze. I wanted peace, not a feud. But on that sweltering July day in 2024, peace was off the table. Let me back up. I'm Ethan Caldwell, a freelance antiquities consultant. My job is to verify ancient relics from museums, universities, or private collectors. My house doubles as my lab, a quiet space where I've spent years handling artifacts with care. My late wife, Clara, was my partner in this work. We built our reputations together, but after she passed 3 years ago, I scaled back, taking only the occasional project. When an Irish collector emailed me in June about authenticating a 1,500-year-old brooch, I couldn't say no. It felt like a nod to Clara's love for Celtic history. The brooch arrived in a climate-controlled case, fully insured, with custom padding and a delivery window I'd coordinated down to the minute. I'd even taped a sign to my door, "Fragile artifact. Do not touch." Everything was perfect until it wasn't. I dropped my groceries inside and pulled up my porch camera footage. The courier had delivered the package at 9:17 a.m., setting it down gently and snapping a photo. Hours later, at 1:42 p.m., Patricia Hensley marched in a frame, her windbreaker glowing like a toxic warning sign. She wore surgical gloves, glanced around, and pulled a jug of bleach from her tote bag. With the precision of a serial killer, she poured it over the crate, slow and deliberate, then snapped a photo with her phone and strutted off like she'd just saved the world. My jaw hit the floor. Why? What possessed her? Before I could process it, my doorbell rang. It was my neighbor, Jamal, holding a melted power strip, his face a mix of confusion and panic. "Ethan, did your house have a power surge?" My office lights flickered, and this thing fried. He held up the charred plastic. "When?" I asked. 20 minutes ago." My wife said the blender sparked like it was possessed. That didn't add up. The brooch crate wasn't electrical. But then it hit me. Patricia's bleach had soaked the smart delivery port next to the package, a hub wired into my home's monitoring system, complete with outlets and a signal booster. I checked the utility box by my steps. It was scorched, black marks spidering across the metal, one outlet cap half dissolved. That explained the surge. The bleach had shorted the system, frying the neighborhood's shared power line. I called the HOA hotline, but it went to Patricia's voicemail, her voice dripping with fake cheer. "Leave a message. Violations must be reported in writing." I didn't bother. Instead, I called the courier to confirm delivery, then the insurance agent, who nearly choked when I mentioned bleach. "You have footage?" he asked. "Oh, I said, staring at the paused video of Patricia's chemical assault. I sent the clip to my lawyer, Sophie Nguyen, who'd handled Claire's estate and was sharper than a blade. Her reply was a single word: lawsuit. But as I gathered EVY Denke, neighbors kept knocking, reporting flickering lights, a tripped medical alert system, even a garage door that trapped someone halfway out. The chaos was spreading, and I knew Patricia would try to pin it on me. Sure enough, my mailbox held a neon yellow violation notice in her loopy handwriting. Unapproved package in plain sight. Fine pending. HOA Rule 12C. I laughed a bitter, hollow sound and muttered, "You picked the wrong relic to mess with, Patricia." She had no idea the Irish collector was a legal shark who'd sued entire governments over damaged antiquities. Her bleach-stained hands were already in the crosshairs. By the next morning, July 17th, 2024, my mailbox was a rainbow of violation notices, pink, orange, blue, each more absurd than the last. One accused me of tampering with communal utilities. Another claimed I'd sabotaged my own porch to hide an illegal import. Patricia was rewriting reality, and the neighborhood group chat was ablaze. People reported zapping noises, reset appliances, even a sprinkler system that flooded a lawn. Patricia posted, blaming an unshielded foreign to VYC and hinting I'd endangered the block. Me, the guy whose priceless brooch was now a chemical soup. I walked to the local deli for coffee and found a crowd by the community board. Someone had pinned up a blurry still from my footage. Patricia, mid-pour, bleach jug in hand. Below it, in marker, the bleach bandit strikes. Jamal, sipping an iced latte, grinned. "You're a legend, Ethan. Half the block's cheering you on. The other half's scared they're next." He lowered his voice. "You hear about Lila's place?" Lila, 2 houses down, had installed a wind turbine. Patricia had been harassing her about unauthorized structures. Last night, Lila's system shorted, frying her inverter. Same time as my surge. And yes, she'd gotten 3 violation notices, plus a handwritten rant about off-grid threats to stability. This wasn't just about me. Patricia was waging war on anything that didn't fit her VY shown of Willow Creek. Back home, an insurance adjuster named Leonard showed up, a tired man with a thermos and a notepad. He studied the footage, inspected the crate's remains, and sighed like he'd seen the apocalypse. This brooch was valued at $2.5 million, verified by the Dublin Museum. It had a custom seal. "This is a catastrophe." He was right. Patricia hadn't just ruined a relic. She'd insulted an international collector and dragged the HOA into a legal minefield. "You have a lawyer?" Leonard asked. "Sophia and wins on it," I said. He nodded. "Good. This is going to court." Then I opened an email from Patricia, marked urgent, community breach. It was a paranoid screed, calling for a safety patrol to report suspicious imports and unregulated to VYCS. At the bottom, in red, "See something, bleach it." I forwarded it to Sophia, along with the footage and neighbor complaints. Her reply, "We meet tomorrow. This ends now." At Sophia's office, a sleek space with law books and a single, menacing cactus, we dissected the case. "We're not just suing for property damage," she said, tapping her pen. "We're hitting her with libel, negligence, and possibly federal violations for disrupting an international artifact loan." "Federal?" I raised an eyebrow. She nodded. "If we prove she knowingly destroyed a protected relic, it's a bigger game. Plus, the electrical Surgesh, a walking class action lawsuit." Sophia had dug up 3 prior incidents where Patricia tampered with deliveries, including a neighbor's asthma inhaler she deemed improperly stored. "The guy nearly died. We'll subpoena the HOA records," Sophia said. "If the board enabled her, they're liable. If not, she's done." That evening, Patricia showed up at my door with 2 HOA board members trailing her like reluctant bodyguards. She wore her windbreaker like a cape, clipboard in hand. "We need to talk about the hazardous package you smuggled into Willow Creek," she said, voice icy. "I've filed a grievance, but we can settle this quietly." I blinked. "You bleached a $2.5 million artifact and nearly electrocuted the block." She bristled. "That's your story. I've alerted the community to the breach. Cooperate, or I'll issue a cease and desist." One board member muttered, "You sprayed bleach on a relic, Patricia." Her face reddened. "It could have been a bomb." The other board member pointed out the custom seal. She ignored them, scribbling furiously. I shut the door, letting it click in her face. Behind the glass, one board member mouthed, "Sorry." The fight was on. 3 days later, Willow Creek was a battlefield of whispers and petty allegiances. My supporters planted plastic gnomes on their lawns. Patricia's loyalists displayed red garden lanterns. Neutrals went decoration-free, like they were dodging a gang war. Sophia's firm filed a lawsuit against Patricia and the HOA, charging intentional property destruction, libel, negligence, and reckless endangerment of infrastructure. The bleach had triggered a surge that fried a neighbor's oxygen machine, knocked out power to 8 homes, and crashed the HOA's gate logs for 2 days. Chaos in suburbia. Then my kitchen lights flickered. A thud echoed outside, followed by shouts. I ran to my porch and saw Jamal across the street, while VYing in a smoking shed. His wind turbine's backup system had exploded. "It was fine yesterday," he yelled. His wife stood by, clutching a tiny fire extinguisher. "Third system this week," I said, eyeing the charred remains. "Something's targeting non-standard power." Jamal squinted. "Patricia again?" I shrugged. Either she's behind it, or she's screwing things up enough to look guilty. That night, Sophia and I re-VYEU'd statements. Lila confirmed Patricia had threatened to report her turbine to the FBI. Another neighbor, Raj, said Patricia demanded access to his EV charger, accusing him of stealing voltage. Sophia leaned forward. "She's not just after you. She's targeting anything she doesn't get: turbines, relics, imports. It's bias dressed up as HOA rules." "Bias?" I frowned. "Lila's Korean-American. Raj is Pakistani. You had an Irish artifact. She doesn't bother the target shoppers. She's got a vendetta against outsiders." My stomach twisted. This wasn't just overreach, it was prejudice with a clipboard. The next day, a plain envelope arrived in my mailbox. Inside, a USB drive and a typed note. "She's recording everything." I handed it to Sophia, who had it scanned. Hours later, she called, half laughing, half horrified. "It's Patricia's surveillance archive. Secret HOA meeting recordings, logs of suspicious residence tag with foreign name or non-compliant style. Folders labeled subversive landscaping and threatening families." She's got a slideshow, deliveries, ally or enemy. I gaped. "You're kidding." "Nope. There's a 12-minute rant about smart homes being portals for cultural erosion. She calls herself Willow Creek's last guardian." This is gold. That night, I couldn't sleep, haunted by Clara's memory, the brooch's ruin, and Patricia's unhinged crusade. At 4:03 a.m., car alarms blared and power lines crackled. I ran outside in slippers, joining bleary-eyed neighbors. A transformer had blown. An EV charger sparked. A garage door whined like it was haunted. My sprinkler soaked my mailbox. And there on the sidewalk was Patricia, flashlight raised like a scepter. "This is what happens when you allow foreign tech," she shouted, pointing at my house. "You've brought chaos, Ethan." A neighbor groaned. "Patricia, your Wi-Fi killed my roses." I stepped forward. "You bleached a relic and fried the grid. You're not SAVYing usury destroying us." Sophia pulled up, phone out. "Repeat that, Patricia." For the record, Patricia froze. The crowd stared. For the first time, she wavered. The city sent an inspector, Gus, a grizzled man who could spot bad wiring in his sleep. He traced the surge to an HOA junction box, rewired with mismatched wires and a sticker, approved by PH. Patricia's handwriting. Gus whistled. "This is a lawsuit with a bow on it." Sophia texted, "We add public endangerment. This is war." The HOA board cracked when the clubhouse lost power, canceling a beloved craft night. A board member, Carl, showed up at my door with a folder. "She went rogue," he said. "Claimed emergency bylaws gave her power. She locked us out of emails, labeled you a red-tier threat." The folder held damning EVY Denke, emails, minutes, and a Dulon 9,000 budget request for threat response, bleach sprayers, sirens, and more, hidden in the clubhouse shrubs. The recall meeting was a circus. Patricia arrived with a suitcase-sized binder, ready to prove a neighborhood invasion. Someone swapped her USB, and the projector played her bleach footage with clown music. The room erupted. She yanked the plug, screaming about a setup, but the vote was brutal, 87-6. She was ousted, her clipboard useless. 2 months later, the courtroom buzzed with neighbors, reporters, and podcasters. Sophia laid out the case. A Dulac 2.5 million brooch, destroyed by Patricia's bleach, causing a surge that cost thousands. Her Emilsparanoid rants about brain-scanning mailboxes and spiritual threats sealed her fate. On the stand, Patricia played the VY-Tim. "I thought it was dangerous," she sobbed. Sophia showed the footage, Patricia humming as she poured. "Is humming part of SAVY-ing the neighborhood?" The room laughed. Patricia admitted she never checked the package or called authorities. Her defense collapsed. The judge ruled swiftly. Patricia was liable for Dulac 2.5 million in damages, plus Dulac 300,000 to me. The HOA faced fines and oversight. Patricia was banned from HOA roles statewide. Willow Creek healed. Patricia's office became a community hub. Lila's turbine starred in the newsletter. Jamal hosted a barbecue, with kids reenacting the bleach attack with water guns. Patricia's house hit the market. It signed a "Faced with bleach-free" stickers. She slunk away, neighbors watching in silence. A month later, I received a hand-delivered coin from the Irish collector, a token from the same site. It sits on my desk, a reminder of Sir V.Y. Val. But the final twist came weeks later. The power company found a hidden relay box in a streetlight, wired to control select homes mine, Lila's, Raj's. Installed a year ago, signed by Patricia. It had been frying systems slowly as secret sabotage. She pleaded no contest to criminal charges, now levying in a condo 40 miles away, banned from wiring anything stronger than Christmas lights. Justice smelled like bleach and left a tyrant dethroned. But what do you think? Was Patricia a misguided protector or a power-hungry VY lane? Should HOAs have this much control? Could Ethan have stopped her sooner? Drop your thoughts below, hit like, and subscribe for more wild tales.